Welcome back to HPL. We're at the PPP Live Studios in Frisco, Texas. We saw Kaldi take a 1-0 lead over Muzzy, and that turn really sticks out in my mind, that kind of little overzealous attack thing. I think he just kind of ran out of time there and just had to kind of make a decision.
Well, he was much more aggressive than we've usually seen in the past. Would you have been quite as aggressive as Kaldi there, or are you not a professional because your boom bots don't hit the way that his does? You can get out there on Twitter and use that hashtag HPL. Let us know what you thought of that turn. Would you have done it any differently, or would you have been in Muzzy's position and just gotten better luck on his side? I mean, fate would have decided that you won the game, right? Well, it didn't happen this time. We're going to head into game 2 and find out if they can make the same stuff happen for them, or is fate going to turn around on Kaldi in this one. We're heading into game 2 right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Muzzy, look, here we go again. Muzzy kind of switching up right away, going into our rogue deck. Kaldi, this could be either one of the warrior decks going forward, but, we've seen a lot of Grim Patron Warrior lately, and I've got to believe this is probably it.
Yeah, it definitely could be. This hand doesn't give us a clue right away.
I'm going to make a guess and say it does. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it is.
Cruel Taskmaster sometimes dictates it's more control. Not every single Grim Patron Warrior is going to play Cruel Taskmaster. I think Unstable Ghoul kind of finding a nice home in this deck, but you can see from this Inner Rage and from the Grim Patron itself that this is in fact going to be that combo deck.
So the Grim Patron drawn tells you it's Grim Patron Warrior.
No, that's not how that works. You're going to be dagger up from Muzzy and looking to get some stuff rolling here. Handful of minions and a backstab. If Kaldi just chooses to develop this board position, I think Muzzy's going to be fine with this, but he's going to be seeing him armor up, and Kaldi's going to be looking to get himself to a high life total so he can use those weapons to full effect.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Muzzy does this turn, because sometimes you just want to get a minion on the board depending on your hand, but he has a ton of them. He has a Piloted Shredder, which can stick around. He has a Lotheb for the next turn, and you do have this backstab that can, pair with an SI agent in case he plays something like Armorsmith, but you'd have to think that maybe he would lead with that on turn 2.
Yeah, just going to go ahead and re-up his dagger for dealing a point of damage here. Looking for some bigger turns, and then wants Piloted Shredder, I think, to be his first threat on the board, but Acolyte Pain is going to make sure that he's going to have to take some action against this, lest he risk major card advantage on Kaldi's side. Yeah,
it's going to be, this is a spot where you're going to probably see him play the Pilot Shredder. I doubt he'll do anything else, but is he going to do something like backstab and dagger this Acolyte of Pain, giving Kaldi 2 draws, but possibly taking away a third from him? Because if you can take away any draws from an Acolyte of Pain, it usually feels like a pretty big win.
Yeah, you want to take away, you probably only want to give your opponent 1 draw in this situation. Wow, he's going to say, you know what, I need to keep you off cards as long as possible. And at the same time, this Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil onto the dagger does kind of signal to Kaldi that Blade Flurry might be in this hand. And Muzzy, with the way that his hand is constructed right now, he may be trying to convey that over to Kaldi. Doesn't want to be handling a lot of pressure right now, and I think that's something that actually might end up being beneficial for him this game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you've got a 4-power weapon, so do I. Kaldi's going to develop this Death Spite, and we've seen this in the past. This is one of the most important cards in these matchups.
Yeah, having second guesses, though, I mean, wouldn't mind just seeing him armor up and play Unstable Ghoul either. Unstable Ghoul is going to be a little bit of a nuisance for him to deal with, and I think Muzzy isn't going to want to just leave that around on the board, and at the same time, Kaldi would love to get extra health in this matchup, because if you get to a certain point, you're going to be out of reach of your opponent and not really have to worry about the big burst damage they can deliver.
Yeah, especially since you've already seen your Tinker Sharp Sword Oil happen, killing one of your minions. The higher life total you get, the more, obviously the more damage they have to play. I sound like John Madden right now, but if you get to a certain amount of armor, it's almost impossible for them to actually have enough to kill you from that spot.
Yeah, you deal the other player 30 damage, they die, you get them to 0, that's how you're going to win. He's going to need to kill all of his opponent's cards and make sure he kills his opponent as well. Excellent stuff there. Lotheb going to come down from Muzzy here. Now at this point, he's just trying to apply a lot of pressure and obviously doesn't want to use his 4-point dagger to really get some stuff done here. But this is going to give Kaldi an opportunity to get some stuff on the board right now. With 2 Grim Patrons in your hand also, your hand's kind of clunky at this point. Grim Patron isn't the best card in this matchup because if you make a gigantic board, it can get swept out in Blade Flurries. So you have to be very selective with how you approach those points. And Kaldi recognizes that that's the case and not going to, kind of reluctant to commit anything to the board in that position, but love that he's using this Unstable Ghoul to push through what looks inconsequential, but it's every point of damage can matter.
Yeah, every point of damage matters, and you're definitely right. He's going to need to look for a turn to have Warsong Commander and have a giant turn. He already has it in his hand. He has 2 Grim Patrons. You may see him push a little bit and test to see if Muzzy does have a Blade Flurry. He's going to want to wait till he gets the actual, 4 charge away from him. He doesn't want to let him get extra full value off of this dagger. If he can get that away, you may see him push for a Grim Patron, because then he has to have, another buff prefer his weapon plus the Blade Fury, but if you can wait it out and have a big Warsong Commander turn, that's what he's looking for, because you don't want to get swept up in this Blade Flurry.
Yeah, Muzzy understanding that this damage matters so much too. At 5 points of damage he's getting from the sap, not the worst deal in the world, and also throws off Kaldi's curve a little bit. This will almost, this may force him into using the other Despite in fear of something like a second sap coming out and putting a ton of pressure. Muzzy actually doing a great job at sending mixed signals over to Kaldi this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're going to see him actually make a ton of Grim Patrons this turn if he wants. He has Inner Rage to start the chain. He can attack the Pilot Shredder if he wants here, killing the Lotheb and triggering both of his Grim Patrons, and then he has a Whirlwind after that if he wants to do that as well. Yeah,
love the Inner Rage first. This will start filling up his board, but again, how much does he want to commit against something like potential of a Blade Flurry? You know, we're going to have to find out exactly how he wants to tackle this one, and you know, Whirlwind will give him 6 minions on the board, but I don't think he uses it.
Yeah,
right, I think he
doesn't. Yeah, definitely doesn't want to use it just yet. And we see this a lot with the Rogue deck. Drawing Phantom Knives against Grim Patron, not always the best thing in the world.
Yeah, actually, this Blood Mage, very, very important in this turn, too. He's going to be able to play Blood Mage, backstab a Grim Patron from full to 0. You know, if you damage that minion and it lives, they get another one, so that's one of the last things you want to be doing. Has Dagger to clear up the other fresh one, has Haunted Creeper to clear up the 5-1. I mean, this is looking beautiful for Muzzy right now.
He's just going to Phantom Knives the last 2 away.
Yeah, you can even do that. Plenty of options open to him, gets to re-up his Dagger. Looking like great stuff. I mean, even gets through this Haunted Creeper for a point of damage, and now things looking a little bit scary for Kaldi.
Yeah, great turn for Muzzy. Good draw. I was going to say, slow down, Kaldi.
He's going to go with the Grim Patron straight away. You know, the fact that he didn't see Blade Flurry, I think he's in the clear and assumes his opponent doesn't have it. And this board about to get filled completely up. This is the power of this combo.
All 4 of the minions from Muzzy here.
Yep, and he's going to fill his board up in the process. Muzzy, you know, this board position looked really good for him, but Kaldi capitalizing on the fact that he's got the second Grim Patron in his hand in the Warsong Commander. You know, I maybe expected him to wait a little bit longer, but he's going to play into it. If Muzzy draws a Blade Flurry in this position, though, he's going to have lost a ton of his reach in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. God, Warsong Commander is just such a good card, and it's amazing in this deck. The turns that we just keep saying, oh, there's the Blade Flurry off the top, too.
That is a huge draw from Muzzy right now. Both Grim Patrons have been used to this point. A Warsong Commander's out of the way. He's at 22 life, and he's going to wipe out Kaldi's entire board and put a big Edwin Van Cleef behind this.
Yeah, so he's, not only that, he's playing this big Edwin Van Cleef, and you know he has an SI agent and a Deadly Poison to start clearing out these unstable ghouls, and he knows there's at least one in Kaldi's hand here. So not only a huge draw for Muzzy, if he gets a 6/6 in play, Kaldi's at 12.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dangerous position for him. And right now, outside of taking more damage, he doesn't have a way to straight up answer this Edwin Van Cleef. I have to believe this turn is starting with Slam.
Yeah, you have to. I think you have to try to cycle through. It looks like he might take a risk here, though, and just play Unstable Ghoul and Emperor Thaurissan.
Emperor Thaurissan Unstable Ghouls is what it's going to be, but this is going to yield a lot of damage over for Muzzy. There are some top decks here that will give him lethal damage in this spot. Is he going to pick one up, or is it going to be lights out? Sap is going to be 1 damage short of lethal right now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11
he has
points
11,
of damage. I mean, is this a spot where you sprint and maybe try to pick up something like a couple of preparations or an eviscerate or something like that? You know, this looks like a beautiful sprint turn to me.
Yeah, I think this is, if you sprint here, pick up preparation and an eviscerate, he's dead, right? It's 10, 11.
I mean, we're going to have to see exactly what he does. I mean, it looks to me like he just wants to push for damage. If he's got Kaldi at 1, he may feel very comfortable in his ability to end this game. Deadly Poison going to be the first one, going to take out this Unstable Ghoul, and maybe that sap is aimed at that Emperor Thaurissan, so that way his Edwin Van Cleef stays nice and fresh. It's exactly what he's going to do, add more threats to the board. Kaldi on a major back foot right now, and he doesn't have anything to swing this game back in his favor.
Yeah, now this attack is going to put Kaldi down to 4, so something like Execute isn't a clean answer anymore. He needs to deal with everything that he sees on the board.
Gnomish Inventor can help pick up another card here, so can Slam, but he's got to get something done this turn.
That Blade Flurry off the top, what a draw.
Such a major turning point. You know, that's the big threat of a rogue deck like this, though. You can't give them a ton of time. And not that Kaldi was giving him a lot of time, but he wasn't putting a lot of pressure on him. He was just building his board presence and trying to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I feel like you have to slam the SI agent here because it puts it in Whirlwind range. If you draw something like Execute, you're actually can create a board state where you're not dead yet.
Yeah, Gnomish Inventor going to try to pick up an extra card here and see exactly what happens. But this is, I mean, it's looking so dangerous for Muzzy right now. He's got to get something done. Armorsmith, actually pretty decent draw here, I would say. You know, Unstable Ghoul, Armorsmith, Whirlwind. Going to put him in a mildly safe position, or is that not enough health at this point?
He's going to gain 3, go to 7.
Now, I think this will keep him safe this turn unless Muzzy can draw more damage at this point. You know, he's gonna be able to use his dagger to take out this unstable ghoul, but that's gonna give Muzzy 3 more armor in the process. He's up to 7 right now. Unless Muzzy draws some action here, Kaldi's still in this game.
Yeah, I really like this attack from Kaldi as well. You definitely need to start getting in this damage. You need to try to finish it.
SI7 agent looks to me like it's not quite. Is that gonna be 1 damage short with just
No,
that?
no, it's,
The eviscerate.
it was enough. He could SI agent the ghoul, attack him with his minion and his.
Remember, the
and his
whirlwind
weapon.
effect gives him 2 more armor now, so he goes up to 9 afterwards. So SI7 agent puts him at 8 armor. 2 more armor puts him at 10.
Oh, we put him 1 out of it. Okay.
So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. But he's gonna, yeah, I mean, this actually will end it right now. If he attacks the ghoul, Kaldi goes to 8. The 2 armor from the whirlwind puts him at 10, and then he's got 6 points of damage plus the eviscerate. Muzzy's got this game. He's got to spot it though. Is he calculating this a little bit wrong? Oh my gosh.
Muzzy, no.
Muzzy, Muzzy, no. Still a lot of pressure though. You know, the fact that Kaldi still has to recover this turn somehow. You know, not the exact position that he wants to be in because he's going to be falling very low this turn. Drops down to, is he going to put him at 1? He's got to put him at 1. Is he going to take out the Armor Smith instead? Take out the Armor Smith I think is fine too because more whirlwind effects could put him back in this game as well.
Yeah, and Kaldi can't really use his life total as a resource here. If he takes any more damage, he's gonna be at too low of a life total to actually survive what's on the board anymore.
He's got to count up everything he can, but he's got no way to draw cards, and he's got no way to effectively deal with this kind of board position. He's got no way to charge damage at him. I mean,
there's no way he can't even get to 2 and just hope to God that Muzzy has no extra damage left over in his hand.
No matter what, he's going down to 1. You know, not going to try to get him in a position where he can just take his beating and go from there. Would like to see him extend this game a little bit. You know, unless we counted that wrong, I counted that about 16,000 times towards the end there. It looked to me like Muzzy missed lethal. Attacks the unstable ghoul. Kaldi goes to 8. The whirlwind effect gives him 2 more armor. He goes to 10. 6 points of damage from Edwin Van Cleef, and then eviscerate to the face. I mean, players will make mistakes at times, and this is one of the reasons why you should never concede in a game.
Yeah, we talked about there's a lot of pressure on both these players coming into this match. You saw a little bit of it probably, weighing on Muzzy there. Both of them feeling it here now.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming out. If you guys want to see exactly what happened in this game, go back and look at that turn for yourself. Maybe it was counted wrong, but it's anyone's guess at this point. I'm going to have to go back and look at it about 16,000 times. Head over to pvplive.net and see it for yourself. Full stats, breakdowns, recaps, everything you need to know about what's happened in this match so far and where we are headed. So when we come back, these guys are making changes to their decks, but we're going to be going on to Game 3. These guys, they have some work to do if they're going to pick up this match because they've been doing very well in their matches so far. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.